Honey is a musician, and I believe what she's going to favor us with tonight is some Milton Acorn poetry set to music. And she is going to sing without her hat, I understand, which is to say a cappella. Right? So, Honey, would you like to?
A cappella is actually chapel singing, not without a hat.
Well, it's a bad pun. Thank you.
First of all, I want to make my presence here in tribute to Milton. That's the first thing. I really have to say thank you, and I'll tell you about that. But before that, I want to especially thank Terry for putting this together. And I profoundly want to thank James Deal, because if it wasn't for James, I wouldn't be here at all. I won't talk too much, but I'll try to touch on why this is very, very important to me. So first and foremost, I'll tell you that I was just out of high school when I was hired on at Toronto Workshop Productions as a coat check girl. All of us of a certain generation have this dream of being discovered, handing coats, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, not my immediate boss, but the visionary of Toronto Workshop Productions was George Luscombe, who was best friends with Milton. So every evening, the cast, the crew, and the staff would go for a drink to Grossman's, and quite often Milton and I sat across from one another. I mean, you have to take this from my perspective. I'm small, sort of. At that time, I could not speak, but I could paint my face. Me and Milton in the same room, it was like, who is this creature? Like, we had this kind of way of looking at each other. And we would sit in Grossman's and drink silently, and every now and then we would catch each other looking at each other. I could never get it. He would get what was called a Boilermaker, and I guess it still is, a shot glass and a glass of beer. And he would drink that without any thought to his teeth. It was beyond anything I could imagine. Anyway, I felt in those days that this was a special person, but I couldn't tell you how. I will soon. So fast forward a few years, and somehow or other I wound up in Prince Edward Island, and somebody took me to meet the incredible Valerie Lapointe, and who was running the Milton Acorn Festival in Charlottetown. And I'm a musician, I'm a composer, a songwriter, and I said to her that I wanted to set some of the poetry because the Canadian poets don't have a lot of their poems set to music, at least, I don't think so. And so she invited me back to the festival. And then I had never met James, but I was in touch with you because you published something that I wrote. And you were the one that sent a letter on my behalf to Mary Hooper, who is Milton's sister, beloved sister. And when I was in Charlottetown, Mary Hooper requested I come to the house. Oh my goodness, now I had to really prove something I felt. But they were lovely. Mary and the whole family. One of the sons was a science major who left university after graduating to come home and take care of the farm. So he was there with his family, and they took me out on the back porch. And because he was into science, he had the most amazing telescope. And he would talk about astronomy, etc., etc. And the whole family was so, it was interesting, it hardly covers it, but you could talk to them, and they knew about farming, they knew about living in the Maritimes, they knew about books, they knew things. So I really felt privileged, and when Mary asked if I would sing on the porch, which I did, her comment to me was, "You and Milton have the same spirit." And I thought, oh, okay. And then she said to me, what was your impression of Milton? And it caught me so off guard. I said to her, I thought he was like a bull moose. And she went, yes, that's the spirit. So I'm so deeply indebted to Milton. And I want to emphasize, as I'm sure you'll hear over and over again, that his catchphrase is, life is a contradiction. So I brought this one piece, and I'd like to ask you to join me. The words are Milton's. This is the beat. Come on, everybody, you falling asleep? Am I putting everybody to sleep? Thank you. It all comes in a package. Unlike a commodity, I'm me, unique. And you don't have to like me, I'm serious. Everything I do is an assertion of what I am, and if I bewilder you, it's because I vary. Nevertheless, I'm a gift, offered with no conditions to you. Since I damn well exist, you do too. Thank you. So this is the poem that changed my life. Milton's Face, Looking at the World, published by the incomparable James Steele. And this is my little contribution to this. It's called Gulp War. I'm bigger than you are, and I want what you have because I don't have it. So I'll take what I want. Gulp War. I don't like you because I don't understand you, and I don't know how to understand you, and I won't even try to understand you, so I'll beat you up. Gulp War. I want what you have, and I don't know how to get it by myself, for myself, and I won't even take the time out to learn to either do without it or get it for myself. And I'm too busy to even try. And because I'm bigger, I think I'm better. And I'll take yours, and I'll call it mine, and I'll get it by Gulp War. I am not going to take from the annals of Milton. I want to say that to be a poet, it's such an honorable, noble thing. But to be a poet who can inspire a different generation, to me, is incredible. And that's what Milton did for me, and that is why I have dedicated this evening to him. So this past March 8th was International Women's Day. And there is a community center in Scarborough, in one of the areas, I think, that are called, I don't know, there's some...
Priority neighborhoods.
Thank you very much. It's exactly what it is. So they called and asked if I would write a piece for them. And without going into all the details, I really hope you'll understand it and understand the politics behind it and the humanity behind it. And the fact that I couldn't have done it without the free speech movement, without having lived in a certain time in history. And I call this, Women Live with Dignity and Courage. Dignity and courage, that's my middle name. It's called living with honor. I'll treat you with respect and ask you to do the same. I'm not an object to be bought or sold. Thinking I'm a possession, obsession is a lie that is tired and old. Some people want to kill me because I won't conform, but my standing up and speaking out is the start of my brand new norm. Some people seem to think that women are under siege, but that is just not so. The roar of my voice will get louder, louder. Listen to it grow and grow. When I fall, I will stand up. My struggle has no shame. I won't let my fears be stronger than my faith. I am reclaiming my own name. I am like a candle burning bright and warm. When I light the way for you, we both walk in the light. A girl expressing herself, a woman's right to dignity, these are normal, natural, honorable ways to living life with integrity. Dignity and courage, that's my middle name. It's called living with honor. I'll treat you with respect and insist you do the same. Just to say one last thing for me, I'm without a microphone so I can't hog it, but this beautiful book of my stuff was published. Each one is handmade by the remarkable Luciano Iacobelli. These wonderful books that he does. Can you imagine? He binds with tooth floss. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that poetry lives.